Qualification Trials Day 3 with Tom Carnegie, Chris Allen, and Jose Garza.
Brought to you in part by Old Style. One American premium beer still fully krausened, naturally carbonated. It's the most natural way to brew and the most expensive.
Well, the talk was rain yesterday, but the track is nothing but sunshine today so far this afternoon. That's beautiful to see, Ken Double.
After a washout last weekend and some iffy forecasts during the latter part of the week, it's nice to have sunshine, a dry track, and appears it's going to stay that way till 6 o'clock.
We'd like to say hello to our friends from Terre Haute and also from Fort Wayne that have joined us. Jose Garza is going to be joining us in just a little while here to talk to. He did have his effort a little bit earlier today. On the track right now, there is activity, which is nice to see. We have a field of 30 cars up to this point filled in out of that field of 33, as you see activity on the track at this moment. Fast speeds have been the story today also, but we have also had a very heavy day in another way, and I'm talking about the fans. Last week, I think they estimated about 100,000 in here, and I know they captured this time because I'm parked somewhere between turn 3 and 4.
It's definitely been a busy day, and of course, with the good weather which we woke up to this morning, then it got cloudy, and now clear skies today. The fans, of course, decided this is the day we're going to see the pole sitter and some good qualifying attempts.
So far, I think we're doing quite well at both. It is nice to see the activity that's taking place, and of course, the pole did come up with some fast speeds. We've got a car on the track right now that was originally driven by Harry McDonald, but he has been replaced, and I'm trying to recall exactly who went out there just off the top of my mind, but they're coming in with that car right now. It's another one takes to the track, and we're getting ready for a fast and furious finish. We've got an hour and a half left out here on the opening day of qualification. I'd like to go back and show a little bit earlier what happened when people were trying to get into this place today and show you how packed it was on the streets. It was 16th Street, as you saw a little while ago, the cars, and also Georgetown and all the other streets trying to get in. And then practice comes in. We get a little bit of practice time before they go out and try and get to go. It's Rich Vogler. You see on the track earlier today, the only incident was a spin by Rich Vogler. Really no damage to him, though.
And he had a difficult month. He was the first car out on the track opening day at the track when back at the beginning of the month, and he wasn't on the track 10 minutes and had a spin and had problems. When he got back on the track 3 or 4 days later, they started up the car, had a fire in the pits, and then he had an accident later on. It's been a bad luck month for Rich Vogler.
Let's take a look at the leaderboard now, because the leaderboard's very interesting as far as how it stands right now on the very front row. A lot of things unexpected. Teo Fabi, the rookie, something you hardly ever see done, and they talk about the words of Tom Carnegie, a new track record.
Not only is it unusual to have a rookie sitting on the pole, but he did it with one lap in his 4 at 208 miles an hour and better. And the rookie from Milan, Italy, had a sensational run. By the way, he's the first rookie since Walt Faulkner in 1950 to sit on the pole.
That's a lot of history. You think of that 33 years, and it doesn't seem like that should happen anymore. Maybe back in those days, you could expect some of those fast speeds to accidentally creep in, but with what they call the super teams and all the rest now, you wouldn't really think that'd be the case. But he comes out after some practice this morning of around 205 and 206 area. He hit a 207.395 average for qualifying for those 4 laps, which is absolutely unbelievable. You can take a look at some slowdown in the inside under the apron right now, but at this time we want to go back and show maybe a little bit of an order of the way it went today as they hit the track. Bettenhausen was the first one out, as expected, talking about Gary Bettenhausen. But as they went down through, we saw that it really wasn't going to stay up with those fast speeds. Gary Bettenhausen, Patrick Bedard, then Mike Mosley. Let's take a look. Third car out.
Just a bit slower. Second time around. 205.583 miles an hour as Mike Mosley goes for the pole.
He's now in turn 3, just above the line with the left side rubber. Through the north chute, a foot away from the wall. Using all the racetrack is Mike Mosley through turn number 4. Onto the main straightaway. The white flag out. 1 lap remaining for Mike Mosley's qualifying attempt. 1 lap remaining. Same pattern through turn number 1 and the south chute. Through turn number 2 is Mosley on this 4th qualifying lap. On the backstretch, heading for turn 3.
And it's still in the 205-mile-an-hour bracket. Here's the speed, 205.250 miles an hour. John Totten bringing him to the checkered flag.
Mike Mosley comes through turn number 4 onto the main straightaway with a 205 mile on average working. Mike Mosley takes the checkered flag from Dwayne Sweeney in our fastest qualifier so far.
So Mike Mosley hit the track at 11:15 this morning, the 3rd car out to actually try to qualify, and that speed of the 205.372, it looked pretty doggone good the way things were going.
Had to figure Mosley was going to be the pole sitter, despite the fact some good cars coming up.
Of course, Bill Alsop is on the track right now. He is a veteran who both owned a car and drove here a couple of years ago, and he did not drive for himself. He had a car that somebody else was driving, and he was driving somebody else's car, which is kind of strange. He's a veteran, though, of a lot of things, rather than just the driving, and a very likable character, and you kind of hope for the best for Bill Alsop. But the way the speeds are going right now, it's going to be a tough one to crack.
He's another one that's praying for rain if he can get into the 33, but now with the field at 30 right now, it's going to be tough on drivers like Bill.
So Mr. Ferguson is on the track right now as they are still trying to get in all the qualifications they can. Had a lot of spins yesterday. We had the one this morning, and you start thinking about the fact that they were forced to get some speeds out. All that rain just got them into a predicament where they couldn't just sit back and lollygag anymore.
And we had 19 incidents during the month, 15 of them, at least during the practice periods leading up to qualifications, 15 of them involving touches with the wall. So as you say, the pressure was on some of the drivers.
We mentioned earlier that 1950 was the last time a rookie sat on the pole. Well, we've got a gentleman who is considered a rookie at this track, but boy, is he a veteran of a lot of other things, road racing, etc. In fact, he was with the Paul Newman team in Can-Am and did very well with it. Talking about Teo Fabi out of Milan, Italy. Let's go right now and catch his 4 laps from earlier today, because here's the man that's on the pole, Teo Fabi.
He's on it.
Teo Fabi moves through turn number 1. His pattern just on the line with the left side rubber through 1. A couple of feet away from the south chute wall. Just down below the line with about half the wheels in turn number 2. Fairly high exit off of 2 and stays fairly high on the racetrack, moving down the back straightaway. Setting up now for turn number 3 on his first qualifying lap at Indianapolis is Teo Fabi. Just down on the line with the left side rubber. 1.5 foot or so away from the north chute wall, now through turn number 4, same pattern as the other corners, onto the main straightaway. And here comes Teo Fabi, one of this month's quick runners, with 1 lap complete. Into turn number 1, Teo Fabi.
Oh, my goodness, listen to this. Over 207 miles an hour. Wow. Well, it doesn't break a record, but here it is, 43.421 on the time. And the speed, 207.273. Wow.
Indeed, wow. Teo Fabi on to the main straightaway now for halfway through a qualification attempt. Teo Fabi moves into turn number 1. Same pattern.
Here it is. Oh, my. Here it is. Hold on to your hats. 208 miles an hour. And it's a new track record. 208.049 miles an hour. And the new 1 lap record time, 43.259. And here he is at the white flag.
1 lap remaining for this sensational rookie, Teo Fabi. Into turn number 1, just on the line with the left side rubber. Foot away from the south chute wall.
Well, you still won't believe it. 207.622 miles an hour. 3rd lap, 43.348. 43 seconds, 348 thousandths of a second. And now let's bring the gentleman from Italy to the checkered flag.
And here comes Teo Fabi in the Skoll Bandit, the new track record holder. Our 8th qualifier, Teo Fabi.
Teo Fabi, a rookie, is the man sitting on the pole. Right now, Steve Krizeloff, we just heard him whiz by us here, is out of the track in for Harry McDonald, who has had that ride taken away. So young Krizeloff on the track right now, just practicing, really not qualifying.
Right.
Right now, let's stand by for more reports on today's action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
You had the opportunity a moment ago to see Teo Fabi's run. He's sitting on the pole. You were Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, Jose Lee, and here is a rookie that really has shown himself well in the month of May.
Well, Indianapolis is getting a surprise, with the rookie like Teo Fabi, which has been running in Europe for quite a while. He was a champion of a couple of formulas over there, and then he comes over here and gets the pole. That's really amazing, and that just proves that Teo can come over here and run ovals.
And has run with great confidence. Now, he's got the pole. Let's take a look at the run for the pole from last year's pole sitter, Rick Mears, who's now sitting on the outside of row 1.
Through turn number 1.
Here's the time and speed report. And he is still not up to Mike Mosley's pace set earlier. 204.123 miles an hour on lap number 2.
Moving now to turn number 3, Rick Mears. Just above the line, still on the very high side of the groove, going through the north end of the racetrack. On the line with the left side rubber in 4, with a high exit off of 4, and squares it off, comes onto the main straightaway. 1 lap remaining in this run for Rick Mears. Into turn number 1, just down to the line this time.
Here we go. Lap number 3, still in the 204 mile an hour bracket, 204.276 miles an hour. And he's still just a little bit below Mike Mosley's average.
Well, he's used all the racetrack, Tom. He's now in 3 with another high exit on the very high side of the groove through the north chute. Rick Mears just below the line with the left side rubber in turn 4, a high exit onto the main straightaway. And Rick Mears takes the checkered flag from Dwayne Sweeney and completes his 1983 qualifying run, our 5th qualifier.
Rick Mears trying to get into his 6th race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sat on the pole last year and held the track record for 4 laps and 1 lap for exactly 1 year and 1 week because it just plain disappeared when Teo Fabi went out there and did 208. I mean, that's incredible when you think about those miles per hour going on out there. Jose, I've got to ask you a little bit about your car because you are sitting right now on the outside of the 6th row with your 195.671.
It's not quite the spot where I would like to be. We were running at 198 most of the week, and we thought we could go over 200, and unfortunately I think our engine is down on horsepower because I was flat all around the course and it just wouldn't go any quicker. So we're preparing it for the race. Let's hope we get a little bit more horses out of it.
As we see Greg Leffler on the track right now, some thoughts about the bubble speeds. If I were you, I don't think I'd be concerned with that yet, but as the more cars qualify, maybe I would be. I don't know.
I am concerned because it's going to depend on the weather tomorrow, and that's one of the things that you got to take a guess at it, and I really hate guessing.
When you were out there on the track and you heard what happened after 1 lap and you heard what happened after 2, did you ever look for the yellow flag, or were you ever conscious that you might not take what was there?
No, I was pretty sure that we were going to take it because you don't know if it's going to rain maybe later on this afternoon or if it's going to rain tomorrow. And it's not going to go any quicker. Even if we did change the engine, we might not make it in time. We don't have an engine ready. That's what we can do for this weekend, and that's what we had to take.
Right now it's 70 degrees. They're talking no rain for the rest of the day, but tomorrow is still a question mark. Nobody seems to know exactly. They're saying maybe some rain in the morning, off and on. So that could mean a wet track for a while out here. So a lot of people might be thankful that they did it today.
Well, it could also mean a really cool track when they do open up, and that's ideal conditions for running.
Right now we have a qualified field of 30 as I see it. We're still in the practice field right now. Let us go to a gentleman who also held the 1 and 4 lap track records at one point and watch that disappear just last year, as a matter of fact. A man trying for his 10th race out here, Tom Sneva, in car number 5.
Sneva moves nicely through turn number 1.
And lap number 2, it's faster. 44.125 on the time. Speed 203.966 miles an hour. Tom Sneva,
who's now approaching turn number 3 on this 3rd lap. Just down to the line with the left side rubber. Maybe a foot away from the north chute wall. Sneva moves now through turn number 4. Tom Sneva onto the main straightaway to take the white flag. 1 lap remaining in this qualification attempt. Through turn number 1, same pattern as before for Tom.
3rd lap time 44.129. Speed 203.948 miles an hour as he's going for that front row.
Well down the back stretch. Now setting up for turn number 3 on lap number 4 is Tom Sneva. Just down to the line with the left side rubber. Foot or so away from the north chute wall. Now moves through turn number 4. Just down on the line, onto the main straightaway. And here comes Tom Sneva. Tom Sneva in the Texaco Star becomes our 7th qualifier.
The early pace puts him in the front row.
So Tom Sneva's 203.687 is enough to put him on the inside of the 2nd row, and I don't think I'd be complaining about that one iota. Tom had some problems really early in the month, but then ended up with a 5th fastest time that held for a couple of weeks in practice, too.
Yeah, they were trying a new car, a theater car, and then they decided to go with a march for qualifying. So it's good to see that Tom is in the field and safe and with a high speed.
Are you envious when you look at somebody that has 2 body shapes to play with and a whole bunch of engines sitting in their garage, too, talking about the Kogan, Bignati, Sneva team?
Not really. You know, they got into that situation and the theater car did not work. You know, when you look at an operation like Penske that only has 1 chassis to play with, but it's a very good chassis, then is when you get envious.
We'll be back in just a moment because we have a lot more things to talk about, including a very interesting situation between father and son, Al Unser Sr. and Al Unser Jr. So stand by for more reports on today's action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ken, we were just noticing, first of all, thinking back to last year in Jose with A.J. Foyt and Kevin Kogan. Of course, Kogan caught A.J.'s car from that front row swerving out. You'll never guess where they are situated compared to each other this year as it stands right now. If we went to the 8th row, we've got Kevin Kogan on the inside of it, A.J. just to the right of him in the middle of the row. You think there'll be much handshaking before they get ready to race if that's the way it goes?
I don't think so, but I hope both of them have forgotten that incident and we'll have a clean race.
It's funny how you have to do that from year to year, I would guess. Now, this is your 3rd race out here, and maybe not veteran enough to recall all the bad incidents that can happen, but you had a strong year last year. You had to go through a lot of things, and I would think that you do have to just say, last year was last year, it's brand new, I've got new equipment, I've got a new team, we go from here.
That's about right. You got to do that because you can't leave on the past. It's either, if you had a good year, you sort of got to put it aside and say, we're going to have a different year, it's the beginning, and then if you had a bad year, you got to put it aside too. Each year, it's a new start.
Well, we mentioned a little while ago we were going to set up the story between Al Unser Sr. and Al Unser Jr. I want to mention that Al Unser Jr. had a fast lap of a little over 201 throughout the week. His qualifying speed is over that for 4 laps today, which is really quite incredible. Why don't we at this time, first of all, go see Papa, and we're talking about the man who is a veteran of 17 races out here, giving his 18th shot, Al Unser Sr.
11,000 seconds, 44.411. And the speed, 202.652.
Down the back straightaway. Sets up for turn number 3. Al Unser Sr. Very consistent pattern as one would expect. Now through turn number 4, comes on to the main straightaway. And in the Hertz number 7, here is Al Unser Sr. taking the white flag from Dwayne Sweeney. on his 4th lap through turn number 1 very smoothly.
We've got the time and speed report. Time 44 and 554 thousandths of a second. Speed 202.002.
Halfway down the backstretch. Now setting up for turn number 3, Al Unser Sr. Through the north chute, foot away from the wall. Now through turn number 4. Here comes Big Al down the main straightaway. Al Unser Sr. becomes our 6th qualifier for 1983.
That's Al Unser Sr., and Jr. has had himself a good month, and he had a good day.
He really had a, Al Unser Jr. has been running Super Beast for a long time. He was champion 2 years ago, champion of Can-Am, and he comes around here as a rookie. It's a place that he really wanted to be with his dad, and he had a very good month.
He got through his rookie test right away, got up to speed right away, and he had a very good qualifying run. Let's take a look at Al Unser Jr.
Onto the main straightaway now, completing 2 laps. Al Unser Jr. still running very well and very nicely as he moves through turn number 1.
Lap number 2, almost the same speed mark. 202.406 miles an hour.
On to the backstretch is Al Unser, still running very nicely, runs a fairly high line down the backstretch. Close to the wall as he sets up now for turn number 3. Just above the line with the left side rubber. A couple feet away from the north chute wall. Very consistent driving on the part of Al Unser Jr. On to the main straightaway. 3 laps complete in Little Al's first ever qualifying attempt at Indianapolis. Running very nicely. Now through turn 1 once again.
Here's the 3rd lap time and speed report. 44 seconds and 378 thousandths of a second. And the speed, and it's his best lap, 202.803 miles an hour. What a ride for the rookie.
Nice consistent pattern through turn number 3. Through the north chute. His dad is second in line now, may be watching, may not. Here comes Al Unser Jr. onto the main straightaway. And we have our 4th qualifier for 1983, Al Unser Jr.
Al Unser Jr. very emotional after that run that puts him on the inside of the 2nd row, which is really quite incredible. We have 2 rookies that are up for the 2 of the 5 fastest cars at this point. I want to quickly run down the field as it stands at this point. First of all, the front row. It is Fabi, Mosley, and Rick Mears on that front side. Tom Sneva, Al Unser Jr., and Bobby Rahal in the 2nd row. It's Al Unser Sr., Roger Mears, and Tony Bettenhausen in the 3rd row as it stands. The 10th car and the 4th row is Gordon Johncock, Mario Andretti, and Howdy Holmes. Howdy Holmes is the first driver to be under 200 miles per hour, so the first make it the 2nd car, Andretti just under. The first 8 cars, make that 8 full cars are over 200 miles per hour, I should say. George Snyder, Pancho Carter, Bill Willington in row 5. And then it is Chip Ganassi, Pat Bedard, and Jose Legarza in row 6. Steve Chassis and Dick Simon so far the inside. That was after they went through the 1 full roll of 61. And as it stands quickly after that, it's Angaius, Kogan, A.J. Foyt, Chris Neifel, Jeff Brabham, Don Whittington, Derek Daly, Scott Brayton, Chet Phillip, and John Mailer. But there's some very slow speed towards the bottom there.
Not only we have slow speeds at the bottom, but again, those 8 speeds at 200 or better, despite the fact that there were restrictions and rules changes trying to cut the speeds down.
That is very surprising, but, you give them a year for technology, and we'll catch up to them. So, rules cannot slow you down very much.
And then the slow speeds down at the bottom, the people like Ganassi and John Mailer taking a chance on the weather, really, hoping that that speed will sneak them into the field.
And I think part of it is because of the crashes we had now, and that slowed down the back end of the field.
So that's the way we stand right now with yet about an hour to go for more qualifying.
Still a lot more stories. We're going to get a chance to take a look at the run of A.J. Foyt and some of the other big names as we continue throughout the afternoon on the network here. But right now, let us pause for a little over a minute for station identification out here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Skies. It's turned out to be a beautiful day, more than anybody could expect with the weather report we heard yesterday. We have the fearsome foursome on hand at the Speedway now. Tom, you've been sitting up there talking on a microphone since probably about 9 o'clock this morning.
8:30.
8:30 this morning.
Yes.
What's your feeling comparing this year to last year when we had track records in high speeds?
Well, I don't even remember last year. No, I don't know. I think that there was enthusiasm today, but perhaps not like last year when we did it on the first day. I think once you have to wait and go through two days of rain out, that you don't quite get back up for it. Although Teo Fabi did it. Do you agree, Jose Lee? Something about magic about the first weekend. When you don't get it, a little bit down.
It really is, because it makes a lot of difference if you qualify the first weekend or if you got to wait the whole week to go again, and everybody's hyped up to get it through and done the first week out. So it makes a big difference for everybody.
Is your attitude sort of, that very first weekend, boy, I want to do the best I can. The second weekend, let's just make the field, let's get it over with.
That's about right. And also, if you do it the first weekend, you sort of get a free week around here, and if you do it the second weekend, you only get 1 day.
Yeah.
So we have
Ken
Double
has got a question or two for you, or for me, I know. I got real excited on that Teo Fabi thing.
Real excited.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
heavens, it was great.
208.
New track records.
Yeah. And then I couldn't quite figure out. We got a new system up there. You read those little, computers, and we came up. I couldn't quite figure out whether it was a new 4-lap record, but we got it straightened out.
Well, you can see the fastest lap right there ever of 4 laps. Teo Fabi on the pole at 2:07.395. In the middle of the front row is Mike Mosley, and Rick Mears on the outside. As we have a car leaving the pits right now, Dennis Firestone ready to go out and try a qualification shot. You can see the car number 90 on there right now. But the fast 9 cars right now are over 200 miles per hour. So let's take a look at the second row right now. It's Tom Sneva on the inside at well over 2:03.5. Al Unser Jr., the second rookie out of the fastest 5, sits in the middle of row 2. And Bobby Rahal, who has been having a very good month overall, is on the outside of that second row. So we can see on the track Dennis Firestone getting ready for the run as we have 30 cars of the field supposedly right now.
I tell you, John Paul Jr. is right behind you there. Let's go do an interview with him if you don't mind.
Very good.
He's in the cart there, just got out of the hospital. John, could we get you on TV here, please? Just stay right where you are. I say just stay right where you are. First of all, how are you feeling, John?
I feel really good. It's nice to get up off my back.
You were in Methodist Hospital quite a few days, weren't you?
Yeah, almost a week to the hour, just about.
You're proud, I know, of Jeff Brabham, who took your place today, and his work.
Yeah, he had to take an untried car and put the thing together, and never really any testing time, and go out there and put the thing in the race, and he's done a commendable job. Did our sponsors proud, Uno and British Sterling.
John, it's tough to have this happen, especially in your rookie year. I know that you were counting on being in the field. What was the extent of the fracture of the leg? I know you've got a brace on.
Well, it's broken 2 places, really, either side of the ankle bone, and some part of the bone got pushed up into my leg, and I had to pull that down and take a graft off my hip bone, and it hurts a little bit, but it's nice to be back.
Did you just get out today?
Yeah, we did.
What'd you think of Teo Fabi's show?
Well, I've watched Teo for a number of years now, and he's really a superb driver, and I think he's done really good. You got to give the guy a lot of credit.
Well, we give you a lot of credit. You're a brave young man. We'll see you next year at Indianapolis.
Yes, sir. I'll be back.
John Paul Jr. Real fine example of the young drivers that we have here at Indianapolis.
Take a look at Dennis Firestone on the track right now in his car making a run at it. As John Paul Jr., as you mentioned, is at least okay, and that's nice to see.
It is good to see that he's back up on his feet, and I hope he recovers soon.
We've got a qualification run going with Dennis Firestone. Chris?
Close to the wall in the north chute, foot and a half away, above the line in 4. All 4 corners pretty much the same. Down the main straightaway comes Dennis Firestone. 1 lap complete on his second attempt. 1 lap on a second attempt on this car for Dennis Firestone.
And here is the time and speed report for lap number 1. 47 and 46,000 seconds. The speed 191.302.
In turn number 3, Firestone moving very nicely through the north chute. Now through turn number 4. A little higher in 4 than he was the last time around. Now back on the main straightaway. Halfway through a second attempt is Dennis Firestone. Turn number 1, still just above the white line.
Well, he slows down drastically the second lap. 48, 141 1,000 seconds. The speed 186.951. Attempt number 2 on car 90.
Now he's moving into turn number 3 once again. Dennis Firestone still well above the white line on the high side of the groove, coming off the 3, about a foot from the wall in the north chute. Well above the line in turn number 4. Coming down the main straightaway, completing 3 laps. The white flag gives Dennis Firestone 1 lap to go on this qualification attempt. Just down to the line in turn number 1 on this 4th lap.
Picks it back up the 3rd lap. 47.386 seconds. And the speed 189.930. What will the crew do?
We will have to keep an eye on them. Dennis Firestone we see going through 3. Now he's in the north chute. Now in 4. A little closer to the white line that time as he came through 4. And the yellow flag is out once again. 2 tries for Dennis Firestone now, 1 remaining.
That, John Totten, is the second attempt assessed to car 90.
So Dennis Firestone decides a no-go for a second try on that one. It's just not getting up to the speeds, and who knows what the weather's going to do. There's a subject matter that I'd like you two to talk about a little bit. That's the idea of, for instance, an A.J. Foyt who was taken out of line earlier today because USAC said you don't meet the qualifications. Can you fill us in on some of the things?
Yeah, that was something a little bit hard. In my particular case, we had been going through tech all month long, and the car was fine, and all of a sudden you're on the line and you're not there.
What is it? I mean, is there some sort of a rule that all of a sudden just came into existence, or what?
Well, it's just a matter of how you look at the tape and how you look at the measurements, and unfortunately some of the guys didn't get a chance to correct it. We did. When we started hearing about this, we just cut the skirts out. But A.J. Foyt didn't get a chance to do that. He was right there, and he was one of the first guys that was sent back.
At least you're in the field, but it's no pole or nowhere up front, which is the way it goes. But stand by for more reports on today's action from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chance to see Gary Bettenhausen try for his second qualification shot, and he got some smoke coming out when he was going into turn 1, so obviously some problems. He's got one more shot, hopefully, to get into the field. And here's a gentleman who is a 14-year veteran of the track out here, and I'd personally like to see him in because of the association with Indianapolis so strongly out here.
Yeah, we all would like to see him in. Unfortunately, now it's right down to the last chance, and there's a lot of pressure there. I went through that last year, and I don't wish it for anybody.
He's one of the crews that's trying with the V6, too, this time around. One of the prototype engines, I guess, out of Detroit, where they said this might be the one up and coming. But, boy, it's having problems this year because Dadian Gaius, another one who finally just switched out of it and went to a Cosworth.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit more development for those engines to come and compete with the Cosworth.
Let's go to the gentleman who last year just plain won the race. What more can you say about a champion? He was the last one in the qualification run this time as far as his draw, number 61 and dead last. But, of course, that's meaningless because it still gives you a shot of the pole. Let's catch Gordon Johncock's qualifying run.
Gordon Johncock halfway through a qualification attempt. Moves into turn number 1. Just above the white line this time in 1.
And Gordy is still over 200 miles an hour. Time, 44.881. And the speed, 200.530 miles an hour. A fine ride.
Gordy halfway down the backstretch. Now sets up for turn number 3. Just below the line again in turn number 3 with the left side. Within a foot of the wall in the north chute. Just down on the line in turn number 4. Every corner a little bit different on these laps. Onto the main straightaway. Here's Gordon Johncock. The white flag from Dwayne Sweeney. Gordy's on his last lap in this qualification attempt. Turn number 1 just on the white line.
Dropping down a bit into the 199 mile an hour bracket that time. The time, 45 and 175 thousandths of a second. And the speed average, 199.225.
Setting up for turn number 3, Gordon Johncock. Same in 3 with the left side just under the white line through the north chute. Gordy just down on the line in turn number 4, and here he is. Looking at Dwayne Sweeney, and Gordon Johncock takes the checkered flag, and we have 20 columns. The 20th car becomes the 20th qualifier. Let's put it that way.
That's Gordon Johncock starting from the inside of row 4. Of course, he showed us that great demonstration of skill and courage in winning the race last year. A.J. Foyt had a qualifying run earlier today, later on in the qualifying order. Let's take a look at A.J.'s run as he took his shot at qualifying for the race.
Now in the north short chute. Down a little over the line with the left side rubber in turn number 4. As he was in 1 and 2, he's had to vary his pattern a little bit on this lap around. Halfway through a qualification attempt, A.J. Foyt moves into turn number 1. Left side wheels below the white line.
Dropping down a bit, second lap, 45.150 on the time. Speed 199.336 miles an hour.
A.J. Foyt again looking at turn number 3. Sets up for it, moves into it. Left side wheels below the line. Comes off of 3 and through the north short chute. A.J.'s into 4. Just above the white line in 4. A little different in every corner has been A.J. on this qualification run. 3 laps complete. 1 lap remaining for A.J. Foyt in 1983 qualification attempt. Below the line with the left side rubber again in turn number 1.
Quite a drop, lap 3. Time, 45.487. Speed, 197.859 miles an hour.
Now he's setting up for turn number 3. In turn number 3, and just on the line with the left side wheels. Every turn's been a little different this time around. A.J. Foyt in turn number 4, just down to the white line, comes off of 4, onto the main straightaway. It's A.J.
All right, that was the qualifying run of A.J. Foyt, who immediately left for Texas to be back with his father, who has been stricken with cancer. That is a tough story, obviously playing strongly on the mind of Super Tex, who will be back for the race next week.
He's in the middle of row 8 as it stands right now, right next to Kevin Kogan, who's on the inside of that one. I would like to ask you one question about the rule changes that happened over the year from last year, where the skirts have been raised. First of all, what happened? What type of rules have been changed? And how do you find it affecting you on the track?
Well, basically what happened is on the aerodynamic part of the car, the underside of the car is really a low-pressure area of the car, and that's what makes it go around the corners as quickly as they have been going through. Now, the skirts or the sides of the cars were rubbing the ground last year, and they decided to raise them up and let an air gap right in there, and that really sort of messes the air underneath the car, and it doesn't let you go as quickly through the corners. Also, they moved the rear wing forward 4 inches, which sort of takes a little bit of downforce out of it. Now, that, in theory, should have made them slower through the corners. It didn't, because technology these days goes a little bit quicker than the mind, so everybody just got a little bit smarter, designed their cars better, and went back up to 207.
I'm going to hire one of those guys to balance my checkbook one of these days, because I can't even do that stuff basically yet. What I'd like to do now is go to your teammate and the man who filled in for you last week when we were right here on the qualification show, Roger Mears, and we can recall back to bad news last year. He was sitting on the inside of a row toward the back and got picked off by Dale Whittington and out of the race. Let's go to Roger Mears' qualification laps from today.
Halfway through this qualification attempt now is Roger Mears. Down the main straightaway, moves through turn number 1, much the same as before.
And it's quicker, over 200 miles an hour, 44 seconds and 986 thousandths. Speed 200.062.
Down the back straightaway goes Roger Mears, sets up for turn number 3. Just above the line in 3, very consistent. Roger Mears through the north chute. Now turn number 4. Running very smoothly. Roger Mears gets the white flag now from Dwayne Sweeney. 1 lap remaining. Through turn number 1 on lap number 4, the very same pattern as the other 3 laps.
And Roger Mears is still faster. 44.940 on the time. 200.267 miles an hour. Let's bring him to the checkered.
Down the back straightaway, setting up now for turn number 3, Roger Mears. Through 3, the same as on the other laps. 4 laps, as the speeds would indicate, are very consistent on the white line that time in turn number 4. Roger Mears now onto the main straightaway. And in car number 9 for the Machinist Union, Roger Mears becomes our 9th qualifier.
At the middle of row 3 at just over 200 miles per hour, one of the 9 cars over 200 miles per hour. Stand by for more reports on today's action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're going to take a look at the run of Don Whittington, car number 91. He was doing well all month, had some top speeds up over 205.
That's right. He was running very well. I really don't know what the problem was. He jumped into a Patrick car earlier this week, and he had some problems with that, so that might have thrown his effort a little bit. You know, you can't run 2 cars in 1 month.
That's right, and he had some bad luck with the Patrick car and kissed the wall a little bit, but he qualified his car today. Again, let's take a look at the run of Don Whittington in car number 91.
2 laps complete in this qualification attempt. 2 laps down. Running very smoothly is Don Whittington through turn number 1, just down to the white line. Through the south chute, now turn number 2.
A tick quicker second time. Speed 45.1, time 45.127. Speed 199.437 miles an hour.
Through turn number 3 now is Don Whittington on the high side of the groove as he goes through the short chute. Now in turn 4, just above the white line, comes off of 4 smoothly. Onto the main straightaway, Dwayne Sweeney has the white flag for him. 1 lap remaining for Don Whittington on this qualification attempt. Through turn number 1, well above the white line on that trip.
About the same as lap number 2. Time 45.155. Speed 199.313 miles an hour.
Don Whittington halfway around the racetrack. Sets up now for turn number 3. Don Whittington moves smoothly into 3, just down on the white line that time with the left side wheels. About a foot away from the wall in the north chute, above the line in turn number 4, onto the main straightaway. And here comes Don Whittington. The checkered flag for Don Whittington, and we have 24 qualifiers.
I'm sorry,
I was just saying that qualification run basically came after the first 61 had their chance. So it puts them a little further back no matter what the speed. It puts them in the middle of the 9th row for him. Talking about Don Whittington, who did so well throughout the week.
That's because technically we are now, despite it's all one day, into day 3 of qualifying. It's kind of like playing poker where they change the house rules all the time. We're just not sure exactly what's going on. But this is now day 3 of qualifying.
Well, you play that game, not me. But It's funny when you look at those hot speeds because you talk for 2 solid weeks about practice speed. So when you come out here, you're geared for Gordy Johncock's going to do well. Don Whittington's bound to be fighting for the pole. And then all of a sudden you say, middle of row 9, Don Whittington, what happened? You know, there's always that question after the fact. Teo Fabi on the pole, you kidding me? He's a rookie. What's he doing up there? But it happens.
Well, it's going to be a fun race this month, and we're going to have a lot of quick guys coming from behind that had to qualify behind and are running very good speeds, and we're going to have them really charge on the first few laps.
Let's go now and take a look at Tony Bettenhausen as he took his run earlier today. Another favorite from the Indy area.
Still under green, halfway through a qualification attempt. Running very smoothly, very consistently. The same pattern through turn number 1 once again.
This time upping it over the 200-mile-an-hour mark. The time 44.927. Speed 200.325 miles an hour.
Moving now toward turn number 3 is Tony Bettenhausen on lap number 3. Same pattern as the last lap through 3. Still well away from the North Chute wall. Getting good speed with this particular pattern of his. Now through turn number 4. And here comes Tony Bettenhausen to take the white flag. 1 lap remaining in this qualification attempt. Turn number 1. Pattern the same as on the other 3 laps. Now in the South Chute.
45.001 thousandths of a second. 199.996 miles an hour. As close to 200 miles an hour as you can get, John Tutton.
Indeed, Tom. Tony now in turn number 3. Same pattern as before. Very smoothly, as the times and speeds indicate, through the North Chute. Just above the line through turn number 4 on this final lap. Coming down the main straightaway now. Tony Bettenhausen takes the checkered flag, and we have 11 qualifiers.
Greg Leffler is out on the track right now, literally out on the track underneath the apron. Let's quickly run down the field as we're running out of time. Front row sitting on the pole, it's Teo Fabi, that rookie, 207.395, and sitting right next to him, Mike Mosley at 205. On the outside of row 1, it's Rick Mears in number 2. The second row, headed by Tom Sneva, with Al Unser Jr. sitting in the middle, another rookie in that middle spot of the second row, and Bobby Rahal, as you can see, who's had a good month out here, sitting on the outside of the second row. Quickly, it's Al Unser Jr., Roger Mears, Tony Bettenhausen, and then Gordon Johncock, Mario Andretti, and Howdy Holmes. Those are the men up front. I've enjoyed it out here. We'll be back and do some more tomorrow. Any comments?
It's been a fast field, and it's going to be a very interesting day tomorrow if the bumping starts.
Winds up today's activities from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Brought to you in part by Old Style, brewed nature's way. It's called Kreuzening, and it's pure brewing, double brewing, using sparkling pure virgin spring water.